Okay, so what you need to make this quilt is 4 charm packs or 1 layer cake. And what I've done with mine is I've cut my layer cake into 4-inch squares. So 4 layer cakes. 4 charm packs, my bad. So my background fabric I cut into 5-inch squares. And I'm going to draw a line corner to corner. Right down the line. And I'm going to pair it with one of my 5-inch squares. Lay it down on it, line it up pretty perfectly, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch on both sides of this line. Helps if you cut your machine on. Okay, so I'm going to sew down this side. Then I'm going to whip it around and I'm going to sew down the other side. Okay, so this is what I have. 1/4 inch down both sides of the line. So I'm going to set this one aside. You need to make half in this and half in the 4 patch that I'm fixing to show you how to do. So I'm going to set this one aside real quick, and I'm going to take one of my background squares, and I'm going to take another 5-inch square, and I'm going to lay them right sides together. And I'm going to sew down 2 of the sides. 1/4 inch. Actually, I'm going to do that with 2 of them because you need 2 to make 1. So I'm going to get another color. Let's choose this gray one here. Right sides together. Okay. And then I'm going to trim my tails, and I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to go down the other side. So what I have is I've just sewn down both sides of my 5-inch square. 5-inch square of background, 5-inch square of print, and I have them pretty to pretty. So now I'm going to go to the cutting table. Alright guys, so now what I'm going to do is take our 1/2 square triangle piece, the piece that has the line. We sewed 1/4 inch down both sides. I'm going to cut on the line. And it makes 2. Now I'm going to take my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, and I'm going to square these to 4.5. So I'm going to line my stitch line up with their 4.5 inch stitch line and trim 2 sides. And when I open it up, they are 4.5 inch square. I'm going to do this with all of my 1/2 square triangles. And then I'm going to press them open. What I'm going to do with my 4 patch squares, the 2 sides that I've sewed on are on these 2 sides. So I'm going to cut them directly in half. They were a 5-inch square, so I'm cutting 2.5 inches off of one side. Okay, I'm going to do it with both of these. The sides I sewed are right here. Inch square and cut. So now I'm going to go press these open. Alright guys, so I have everything pressed open, and these are my 4.5 inch square 1/2 square triangles. Then I'm going to take these 2 pieces See this when we cut them and press them open. Oh, somebody's here. Pause. Alright guys, sorry about that. So now we have our half square triangles, our 2 half square triangles, and we have these cut in half. These pieces here should now measure 5 inches by 4.5 inches. So what you're going to do is take 2 different colors, and you're going to put the print on the white and the white on the print on the other one. And if you pressed your seams, let me press this one to the other side because I did that one wrong. If you pressed your seams to the print side, your seam should nest right here. One going this way, one going this way. And this is the side we're going to sew across, the 4.5 inch side on both sides of this, making sure you've got these nested on both sides, and sew down these. So let's do this one as well. Kind of rub them together and like back and forth in your finger and make sure they're nested good on both sides. So let's go to the machine and do that. Alright guys, so here we are at the machine, and I'm going to make sure my pieces nest. If you feel like you need to put a clip there or a pin there, I'm just going to hold it with my fingers. And I'm going to sew 2.5 stitch length, and I'm going to do 1/4 inch. Making sure these are right sides together. And I'm going to chain piece both of them. There we go. Trim your tails. I'm going to spin it around and do the same thing on the other side. Now we're sewing on the 4.5 inch side now. We're not sewing on the 5. And then we're going to trim in between them, and then take these back to the cutting table. Alright, so here we are. We're going to put our seams that we just sewed on this side of us. We're going to cut this in half. And when we open them up, we have a 4-patch. How cool is that? We actually have 2. So we'll sit them over there by the iron board. I'm lining the line up here, and I'm lining my half line up here, and I'm lining up my 2.5, 2.5 here, a line here, and a half line here. Okay. And we have a 4-patch. Okay, so let's press these real quick. Okay, we got everything pressed. How cool are these 4 patches? Easy, easy, easy. Okay, I'm going to grab 4 squares. I'm going to grab 2 of these, and I'm going to grab 2. I'm going to grab 2 4 patches and 2 half square triangles, and I'll meet you back at the sewing machine to show you how the square comes together. Alright guys, so I went and pulled 2 4 patches and 2 half square triangles off the wall. So what we're going to do is put the color to the top left and the color to the bottom right on our half square triangles. Then we're going to put color into the middle on our 4 patches. And then I want this one this way, so it kind of like diagonally through it. I'm going to flip this one over to this one over to this one, and I'm going to sew down here. 1/4 inch. Okay, then I'm going to bring this one in. Okay. Trim your tails. And I'm going to open them up. Make sure they still look like they should. And they do. So I'm going to take this one and fold it up and sew 1/4 inch down this side. I love this quilt pattern because it's another one of them that look like you did a lot of work, but you didn't. You did a lot of buck for your bang. Is that what the statement is? So I'm nesting my seam in the middle. Making sure it's butted up real good there. Alright, let's open it up. Oh, look how good it looks. So let's go to the iron and press it, and then I'll show you where it goes on the wall. Alright, so let's press it. First with a dry iron, and then steam it. Then I make sure my seams are going how I want them. It doesn't matter left or right as long as they're laying flat. And then let's see where it goes out on the wall. Spin you around here. As you can see, there's a hole right here where I pulled them 4 squares off. I'm going to take my square and I'm going to put it in. Just like that. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to finish it. So I'm going to do that a lot of times. I don't know what size quilt you're going to do. I guess just make a bunch of them until your quilt is the size you want it at. I do need your help with something though. Don't run off just yet. I bought, let me get you in here so you can really see the colors. I bought, sorry. Okay, I bought 2 yellows for the borders. So what do we think about this one? Option 1 or option 2? I'm leaning a little bit more towards option 2, but you guys pick. Let me know in the comments below which one you like better. Oh, I got a square. Option 1 or option 2. So I'm just going to put a bunch of squares together and see where we are. And I'll be back in a minute before we put it'll be just a minute for you, but it'll be a couple of hours for me. I'm going to start my squares together and see what the size finishes off at. Alright guys, here it is. All my squares are together and I have my first border on. With my layer cake, I was able to get 7 rows across and 9 rows down. That's just the, the size that I wanted it, so I stopped there. I did have a handful of squares left. I could have added another row, but I think this is going to be plenty big enough. Love how it's going to come out, how it's coming out. I did decide on this one for the border, so I'm going to throw the big border on it and it'll be done. Throw that baby on the long arm and then gift it. It'll be all finished. Look how pretty. I love how it chains together. Diamond chains. Look at the diamond and the chains. I love it.